Okay, we are definitely live. Okay, here we go. Okay, today on the show, we have Amy Stockberger with Amy Stockberger Real Estate in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Let me tell you more about Amy. Now, Amy and her husband are broker owners of Amy Stockberger Real Estate and also run a teamerage brokerage model, which I'm excited to learn more about. Now, they have been the highest producing team in the state of South Dakota since 2017 and ranked 23rd in the nation by Real Trends. They served 559 clients for 171 million in volume back in 2021. That was with 15 agents. Last year, they did they worked with 486 clients, 166 million in volume. Now, Amy created a unique and all-inclusive lifetime home support system that turns their clients into referral machines, resulting in over 70% of their business sourced from relationship referrals. Amy has also successfully monetized each pillar of her lifetime home support model, which has added a lucrative revenue stream while gaining clients and agent loyalty like no other. To learn more, please visit Amy's website, which is amystockberger.com, which is AMYSTOCKBERGER.com. And by the way, we have a link to that in the show notes. Amy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, DJ. I'm glad to be here.
We got started a little late because Amy is down in Florida right now, and I was very jealous because I will be actually just a couple of hours from where she is, starting in a couple of days. So I got very excited, and we talked a lot about the winter months and how nice it is to get away for a moment or two. But Amy, I'm excited to speak with you, and you and your husband's team and all of your agents. You guys are just obviously you're crushing it. So I'm always fascinated by people who are doing really well, and our audience loves to hear how you do that and how you started. And I'd love to go all the way back to the beginning of your career in real estate and first learn why real estate. How did you get involved? Why? And what was it like when you first started?
You got it. So I got into real estate straight out of college. My dad had owned a Caldwell Banker brokerage at the time and did a really excellent thing for me. He got me a job. At that time, I made $24,000 a year. And I'm the oldest, high D, high I. And he put me in the back office and said, hey, sink or swim, see what you can do. And he did the best thing for me. He taught me everything from the back end on the support team part of it and just knowing the administrative part of running a brokerage. And then I fell in love with the industry. I got licensed, and I've done about every single position you can do within the real estate industry. So I started out support. I then got licensed, and I became a buyer's agent, which at that time was very, very, very new. There wasn't a lot of teams at that point. And then I became a single agent, went out on my own, and then quickly started my own team with my sister and a part-time assistant. And then my husband joined my business back in 2009, and that's when we really started to scale and take a hobby that paid me and made it into a lucrative career. And then we were team for a long time, and then we started our brokerage in 2019 and still run it as a team, or as a broker, as a team in our brokerage. We call it the teamerage, meaning that we still give all of that support that we really feel agents need to make them very, very successful in their craft. And my vision is to create big, juicy legacies for everybody within my ecosystem by using my Lifetime Home Support Foundation.
So there's a lot to unpack there. Thank you for that information. I was one thing that really struck me, and again really speaks to how well you run your brokerage and your team, is that you really started this in 2019, which again, was not an easy year to do much of anything in real estate, right? So the fact that you during the pandemic were able to put these sort of processes in place and start the foundation of this team, which again, I know you've been working in real estate long time before then, but this idea of doing this in the middle of the pandemic, boy, that's what a bold and courageous move.
Well, we started the brokerage in 2019. We started our real growth pattern really started in 2009. And we started our Lifetime Home Support, our model of Lifetime Home Support. We started that really in 2015. That's when I really figured out that the way I was doing things, I I loved taking care of the client. I loved the experience that the clients were getting, and I wanted to make sure that we were providing the highest level of service to keep us top of mind for them, to have them review and refer us as much as possible, and repeat business. And so that was the really the game changer for us, is when we put that into our business, because then we had a process, a system, a strategy to help the client before, during, and after the home buying and selling process. And there's so much to be said about how that before and after relationship part could be even more important than that during the transaction relationship part.
Yeah, I've always thought that that was probably maybe the thing I've tried to focus on in the show and talking to guests is I'm not, well, initially when I first started the show, I was mostly interested in how they treated their clients during a transaction, because of course, top 1% producers are clearly, providing a level of service and support that maybe other agents aren't. So initially that was my main interest when I started the show. And then I realized pretty quickly early on that top producers all had very, very impressive strategies for while working with a client. But then I sort of got bored listening to it because it was a lot of the same stuff. And then I thought, well, I'm actually more interested in what happens in between sales, because that's, I think, where a lot of missed opportunities happen. Obviously,
Oh, gotcha.
agents oftentimes just forget because they're busy. They're in the middle of a million other things. And it's like, oh, so-and-so bought a home 3 years ago. Yeah, I should probably reach out. But having an actual strategy so that you're staying in touch and providing value is amazing. But I wanted to actually go back to something you said, because every year I say, I'm going to remember to ask guests more about this. And I never do. And I'm so glad, because I would have forgotten today, but you actually just jogged my memory. You were saying that you weren't necessarily super happy with the way you were running things until, was it around 2015 when you started really working on your process? So I'm curious, is what were you doing back then that's just to identify a problem or an issue that you were having? What were some of the issues you were having that caused you to want to create a solution for?
Well, I was looking at the lifetime value of a client. What is your lifetime value of a client? The value of them throughout your entire career. And it was putting the numbers to that, in a career, typically a lifetime value of a client, the times they're going to transact is that, in our market, $100,000 to $175,000. And then what does that look like then for the lifetime value of the referrals that they're giving us? If say 10 to 15% of your sphere is going to transact within 12 months, what's that mean when you keep multiplying that success on making sure that your clients are becoming your referral partners? And so what I did in 2015, or before, what made me actually start the lifetime home support model that I created, is I was running crazy open houses. I was spending, it felt like I had all this money going out on lead generation, that the ROI wasn't there. And I just knew that there had to be a better way to take care of my clients so that their experience was top notch. And then I also wanted to make sure that I, again, had them there for being my referral partners. And then I wanted to monetize it. That's a big part of it. I'm a systems person. Like I said, high D, high I. There's a system and strategy for every part of our business. And having that in place, I decided to put my VIP club in. And so what my VIP club is, and I have a lot of different pillars within our business of our lifetime home support, but the one I was going to visit with you about today was that VIP club, where our clients get access to all of our pillars of our VIP club before, during, and after. So lifetime access for free. And so one of the first things I did is I put a moving truck in place, 15-foot moving truck in place, put that there for my clients to serve them before, during, and after for life. They get to use it for free, but I monetized it right away. So I went back and
how did you monetize it?
So I figured out what my debt service was for it, and I went and sold ad space on the back of it and made money off of my truck. So
so did you purchase the truck, or did you lease the truck and then how did you do that?
Yeah, I purchased it, but you can lease. So I have created a whole system for other agents to take what it took me how many years to perfect. And I always say I have a PhD in failing forward. I've made all the mistakes. So what I've done is created a VIP course, startyourvipcourse.com. And it basically, it's a copy and paste formula to implement and monetize your VIP club. So agents can go out and take everything that all the material I have. I have 7 modules. I have it broken down into the blueprint for your 30-second elevator speech about your VIP club. I have it broken down on how to monetize each pillar. So I have a moving truck, I have a party supply, I have a tool shed, I have a discount market center. I have a client event section. I have an agent recruitment section. And then I show them how to monetize each side of that with every system they need within it. Like there's one whole module of just operations, because there's so much that happens with all the departments within your company. And if you don't have your systems, you're not going to scale. You need, those two are sisters. You need systems to scale. That's just how it works. And so I have a whole module that's just telling you, here's a checklist you need for every part of your business to implement and monetize this VIP program. Because at the end of the day, your clients are going to remember that experience. And this experience that we're providing, which I'll go deeper into on the next part of it here, is that they're going to remember it no matter what, if you're there and you have the systems in place to keep top of mind. You know, Gary Keller said it in Millionaire Real Estate, that humans have two places in their brain for realtors, and it's our jobs to knock the other one out, and so that we're staying top of mind. So they're repeat business and referral business. And so the trucks was the first thing. Monetize those. I have two, going to have three here in 23. So monetize those guys. And then I added my party and tool shed almost immediately. And so what that is, I have party and tool equipment that they can use. So like think of banquet tables and chairs, commercial grade food warmers, cotton candy, snow cone, popcorn machines, platters, anything you could think of for a party, bouncy houses, all those things. So clients can come back and use those for free for life. But a big part of this is that I put my brand on everything. So again, with my truck, my clients get to use my trucks. My trucks are a marketing vehicle for me. They get out 600 some, impressions per mile that they're out there. So, and then I monetize the back of them. So so I make money off of my trucks. And then now it's my party equipment. So everything that, people for graduations, parties, my clients come back and use these for life. They throw parties. My name is everywhere. My brand is everywhere. So again, it's more brand awareness while they're in there. And I'm able to then, obviously my clients are referring us because they're getting such value from us. And then there's so many stages of home ownership. So we created our tool shed. Our tool shed has everything you can think of that a client would need for every season of home ownership. So from ladders, wheelbarrows, commercial grade paint sprayers, carpet cleaners, the big fans, all those things.
Yeah. So basically you guys have all this equipment. Your clients are able to contact you at any time, say, hey, I need to borrow a power washer for my deck, or I have a children's party coming up and can I use the bouncy house? And then your truck is there on at the event, I'm assuming, or nearby the event where people can see it. Your name is everywhere. You've monetized the truck so it pays for itself, and you're getting all this amazing marketing exposure, and you become the person that you create the stickiness because your clients are like, oh, Amy's got everything, I'm going to just go to her. I'm one of her clients. That is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Then so because we have over, it's actually this year, I bet you we're going to be probably 2,500 reservations that we're going to have from our clients this year. But because there's so, and again, this is, you're branding yourself, you're serving your client, which is what you want to do. You're branding yourself, and then you're monetizing. I monetized all of them. So my party shed, tool shed, they're all monetized too. I created software because of that, because your clients need a one-stop shop that's just about you. So when you think about the cycle of a buyer or seller, they're out on your websites and your socials when they're vetting you out and or when they're looking for houses. That's what they're doing.
And that's it.
Yeah, they're not coming back to your website again after
they're going to Zillow any other time to check the price, to see what their home's worth.
So I created software, my lifetime home support software, so my clients can go out, and that I sell off to my students too, where it has everything they need. So you're serving, I'm providing value. They're going and looking at all of the equipment we have. They're renting it on that, on my software. So they easily can pick it up. It's all set up. I have systems inside of it so that my FTE, my full-time employee time on this is next to nothing because of the software.
So you don't have to actually organize a lot. It's all done through a system.
Yep. And then that software though is set up where I have, all my Facebook blog, my Facebook feed. So that's in front of them. Everything for my client event is up there. Everything for my home support team partners, which is another pillar I'll talk to you about. My private Facebook group for them is on there. So I have listings on there. Easy way for us to review me and my agents. So again, it's a place for them to go one-stop shop that has everything they need. And I'm not selling to them, I'm serving to them.
Right.
And again, if there's one lead generation that everybody should focus on the most and spend the most amount of money on, is their data bank. Their data bank, especially in a market like this. And this type of market is an opportunity market for those who for those who are frozen in fear, they're gonna get just they're gonna get passed by. They're gonna get passed by. Right now
Absolutely.
is an opportunity market, and this is where we're gonna go in and pick up market share. That's our market share is 23. We're climbing is the theme of our year that we're going in, and that's you need to do it through your data bank because they are the best who know, like, and trust you, and the referrals from your data bank are the best referrals to work with.
They're almost guaranteed. Yeah.
They're guaranteed, and they come to you knowing your value. And one of the big things too about this lifetime home support model, like my ISA department, we have an 8% contact to contract conversion rate. The market average is like 1 to 2. And then
Explain that to me. I'm sorry, I wasn't not sure I totally understood that.
my ISA contract to close rate, we have an 8% conversion.
Oh, contract to close. Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah. So not contract to close, sorry, from contact to close.
Oh, contact. Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the minute a lead comes in, so my lifetime home support model is a hook, because you have to know that anybody who's going out to any website, they're talking to 5 to 6 other brokers too. So
Totally.
my lifetime home support model is the hook that keeps them with us. That, hey, with us you get access to all of these things for life. And I haven't gone through all of them yet, but this is what we have because we're lifetime home support. We're here to save you time, stress, and money, and we're the experts of connecting buyers and sellers. And we do that and help you build wealth through real estate with our lifetime home support model. And so again, having this, even if you're doing lead generation for your web leads, you have this hook of lifetime home support that keeps them with you.
So yes, and boy, again, you just said so much. There's a couple things I want to dial into because from our listener perspective, you said a couple things that really sort of grabbed my attention, which was. Well, actually, I'm going to ask you a question. So you had said this, and you said this very quickly. So I want to sort of rewind back to this particular point because I think this year it's particularly important, and I think you would agree. But I'm curious because you'd mentioned, your database, your sphere of influence, you call data bank, is the most powerful source of new business, and what I am curious about is, and you'd said a percentage and I just missed it. I know the percentage is 16%. That's the number I know, but I don't know which number. I missed the actual number you said.
10 to 15%.
10 to 15, yeah.
Yeah.
And so here's what Amy and I are talking about. So in your database, depending on what numbers you're looking at, we'll say 10 to 15% of the people in your data bank are going to transact in real estate within the next 12 months. Or Amy, correct me if I have that wrong, but something to that effect.
Correct.
So if we know that, and first of all, I think there's a lot of agents that have never even put a database together, but if you haven't, this is the time to do it, especially this year, because Amy's exactly right. All the top producers this year, they are getting market share. They're gaining market share on the agents that are a little bit reluctant, are pulling back, and maybe they're a little scared, or maybe they're depressed because of the way interest rates and inventory, but the brokers that are stepping on the gas a little bit and realizing tonight this is the year to deepen relationships are just going to take that market share away from the agents that are pulling back. But what I wanted to say is you just smashed a myth or discredited a myth, which is I don't have enough potential clients. No, you do, because 10 to 15% of the people you already know are going to need a realtor in the next 12 months. I guess the question is what percentage of those 10 to 15% are you actually going to earn or get? And if you just sit back and wait, it's probably going to be a smaller percentage than if you're more proactive. And the reason I'm making such a big deal about this, I think this is such a relief to agents that are like, I don't have enough leads. I don't have anything new stuff coming. It's like, okay, that might be, but you already have this huge group of people that you could focus on, developing more intimate relationships, more connected relationships with. But anyway, I just wanted to make that point.
No, and that's so true. And the best real estate business you can build is a relationship-based business. Real estate will always be relationship-based, and now you should always be doing this. But it's a game changer when you add something like this into your business, because you can scale so quickly and you're serving. And if you're not in this to serve anyway, it's likely not going to work out for you. But you're serving at such a high level that it becomes the law of reciprocity. And our humans are so predictable. And the law of reciprocity is just, you get something, you give something back in kind. That's just how our brains work. And so our VIP club is such a huge part of our lifetime home support pillars. And Another part to that, I should say. So we have our party shed, our trucks. We get those monetized. Our party shed, our tool shed, those are all monetized. And again, our tool shed are things people don't want to buy, rent, or store. We have for
Yeah,
them, and that's just the way it is. And
totally.
they're going to need. You know what they're going to need. And in my course, since I've done this for so long, we know, and I have it all laid out in there. We know what equipment is good and what is not going to work. We know what equipment is going to last you a summer, which one's going to last you 2 years. So I have that all laid out too, because that's a trial and error thing, that you just wouldn't know if you hadn't done this process. So I've done that. But then another part of our home support team is our discount center. So I have a relationship with an online discount center that I'm offering up in this, that they can go out and our clients get 85 to 25% off over 100,000 different national big brand names. So like Nike, Under Armour, Walmart, things like that. They get deeper discounts than what they would get on products and services they're already going to buy, that we're offering up to our clients, so they can save another $5,300 a year just by using that. And that's here's another thing we're offering you to save you time, stress, and money. And that has a lot of different lead generation in it that I'm using right now for corporate partnerships and building market share on that, which is a totally different process, but it's so lovely, because again, relationship based business is the easiest business to scale. And then the next one is my home support team. So again, our clients need so many different services and products throughout all of the seasons of buying and selling, right? So I put together what I feel is the best of vendors within my local market, who are part of my home support team. And they give our clients preferential treatment, preferential sometimes pricing, and are there to make sure they're giving them legendary care like we do. So think of your, obviously lender, inspector, those things, we have all those, but then it's HVAC, we have carpet cleaners, we have home cleaners, we have interior
Probably
designers.
mold remediation. You probably have
Everything. So, I charge these partners $3,500 a year to be a part of my program. And so my clients have access to it. So I have a huge a huge revenue source in this, but it's threefold. My home support team is threefold in that it really is so beautiful for my clients, because that's another value add to my VIP. So they have access to all of my people that I'm keeping in front of them, because we have all the systems in to keep the home support team partners in front of my clients when they need them. They have the discounts, they have all of that. But then the second part of it is obviously the revenue generation. And that's another big thing that brokers and team leaders really need to be thinking about this year is, what other revenue streams are you adding into your business? It's very important to have other different revenue streams that you have laying down to continue to keep monetizing your business and building it. And so the second part is that we have the revenue stream coming in. And then the third part is market share. So a part of the requirement for my home support team partners to be a part is that we get to come in and present to their employees. We get to come in and tell them about our lifetime home support model, all the things they get with being an Amy Stockberger real estate client for life. Once we get in that one-to-many presentations and showing them all of our success strategies, because we have a lease buyout program, we have an instant offer program, we have a guaranteed sales program, we have a love it or leave it guarantee. So we have all these systems for every stage that once I get in front of them and I'm telling them about, it's far better than anything I could throw on social media. It's far better than anything. It's a one-to-many. And then we have a system where we're staying sticky too, where we're keeping our information in front of that employee. So when they have a life change, which is where we can be of service to anybody in a life change, right? That's what we do as realtors. That those people are who we can serve. Why would they not call me? They're calling us because we're the broker of choice, because we're the ones who are offering the most amount of benefit, besides being the leaders and connecting buyers and sellers, but everything else they get for life with us.
So I just want to, all of that was amazing. I wanted to point to something that I have never heard anyone else say. And I'm just going to kind of focus on it, because I think it's something that really any of our listeners could possibly implement. Although oh, by the way, for everyone who wants to learn this program and this system, Amy's got an entire program for you, which is she calls it the copy and paste formula to monetize your own VIP club. And if you want access, and Amy, it's startyourvipclub.com.
Yep.
I believe, correct? Yes. So we're going to, by the way, there's a link to that in the notes. And guys, this is really what you want, because look, I mean, anyone can put programs like this together, but I have never seen a broker, a realtor, put this kind of program together who has the level of success that Amy and her team do. And it's not like they're only doing massive $10 million plus luxury deals. She said their average price points like 200, 250,000. So
340.
340. Yeah. So
Yep.
so
Yep.
so that is a very sort of median price point for a lot of. She's doing a lot of transactions, doing 500 plus transactions a year with her team. And guys, she put all this together, and she wants you to learn more about this as well. So startyourvipclub.com has a lot of this information. There's I think even a couple different membership options. I think
Yep.
there's like a one time, and then there's monthly and all this. But it's funny, whenever I see these kind of products, it's really never backed by a brokerage or a team that's actually doing a ton of production. So I think you have this really unique spot in this very crowded place of, we'll show you how to, create this amazing business. It's like, oh, I'm actually doing it. and I love that. So startyourvipclub.com is where you can learn more about this. But the one thing I wanted to mention, which was, well, a couple of things. First, having a private Facebook group. The only reason I'm mentioning this for your clients, by the way, which Amy has talked about, is this is a brilliant thing. I've never heard anybody mention this idea. Now, here at our brokerage, we have a private Facebook group for our brokers. In Illinois, everyone's called a broker. So for our realtors, and they are, they chat back and forth in there. We do trainings in there. We do a lot of celebration stuff. But I never have heard of a realtor having that for their clients. But it's the same exact idea. It's brilliant because your clients get to know each other. You're probably posting content in there from time to time, and your clients get more direct access to you and the other clients. So that in and of itself, I love, and that's something really just about anybody could put together. But I love the fact that you have created this whole program that shows people step by step how to do things like, hey, I think I do want to offer a van or a storage or a shed with tools so that my clients can use it. The other thing you said that was really fascinating to me, and as somebody who sort of works on the management side of a brokerage, I don't know why we're not doing this, which is you charge your vendors, the ones that you refer to, you charge them to be part of your preferred vendor list. And that is, I've never heard anybody mention that. That is such a smart idea, because number one, you want to make sure, of course, that they're committed and these vendors do a good job, which you've already done. But it's like, no, you should have to pay to get access to my clients. My clients are really the most important thing for me, and I want to know that. I'm assuming that the thought is that you want these vendors to have some skin in the game, so that that at least you're receiving some value along the way as well.
Oh gosh, yeah. And think about it just from the realtor's perspective. That client is trusting you we play so many roles to these beautiful humans who are in a really big financial decision in their life, and they trust who you know, like, and trust. And so my home support team people partners have always been so important to me, but I really wanted to offer them to local, like Sioux Falls, like our state. We don't have state income tax. Like we have a lot of growth coming in because of that. We're just, Forbes is like, we're the best place to, start a business, I think, since 20 years now, since I've been in the business. It's been so long. But I really love growing local too. Like, I really love giving back and growing local. It's like, okay, I'm going to help you grow your business because I'm going to show you I know how to market. I'm going to put you into my marketing. I have a whole system that I market for you to keep you in front of the people. And then they stay and they're going to use you. It's just a no-brainer. And my home support team partners, I love them. They're so good. And my goal this year is to have 125. So do the math on that, $3,500 a year.
Wow.
Last year we were right around that 100 mark. And these home support team partners, they're the ones who, also do ad space on the back of my truck. They're the ones my client events. So we do really big client events a year, and they're the ones who I have a whole system in my course about this that they pay for my client events. I have a whole sponsorship categories about what they can pay for on that. So I monetize my client events. And again, if you're not doing client events, you should anyway, because you should be loving on them. But typically I sell anywhere between 3 to 4 additional units every client event, just from, again, the law of reciprocity, and then having and it's good for my home support team partners too. They're out there and they come in, the ones who are sponsoring, they're there and they're meeting my clients face to face. And so it's a great opportunity.
And The other thing that you said that I absolutely love, and I've sort of been beating the drum on this since I started the podcast, although I'm not a producing agent, so probably nobody listens to me, but my guests, they do listen to. So I wanted to make sure that because you've said so much already that I know a lot of our listeners' heads are probably spinning, going, "Oh my God, there's so many good ideas." This is a good one that I have. I'm trying to think if anyone, we've done almost 500 episodes. My memory's garbage. So maybe somebody said this before, but I don't think so. And here's what Amy mentioned. And she said it very quickly, but it was really a brilliant nugget, in my opinion, which was when she has clients, she's like, oh, by the way, she obviously knows where they work. She knows, probably enough about the office they work at or a little bit about their business. And then Amy's like, hey, who's like the HR person? I want to talk to them and see if I can come in and do a presentation for the other employees, which is absolutely one of the smartest things, because you're going to have one of their employees vouching for you and saying, oh my God, you got to have Amy in here. She'll bring in lunch and she'll do a little presentation. And that is absolutely brilliant, and nobody else does that.
Okay, so I'm creating a course on this because have you ever read the book, the Dream Manager book?
No.
Okay, so the Dream Manager was, I think it was written in 2007, back before the world was the world now, right? Where we've just had such a hard time with employees. And my husband and I own a handful of businesses, so we know how hard it is to keep attract and retain good talent. And so that's basically the concept of that book, is that it's getting harder and harder each year to attract and retain good talent, so employees, and that a happy employee is a productive employee. So what I've done is I've created a corporate partnership with all of these things with the foundation of my Lifetime Home Support. And I've gone out to companies and just say, here, I want to be a corporate partnership. I'm going to offer you all these things for free, all these different parts of my VIP that we haven't talked about all of it. I'm going to offer that for you for free to put into your employee benefit program. And you can do this to help you become a better place to work for your employees, to just have one more benefit of working for you. We're going to offer up different lunch and learns activities, because again, statistically, an employee who owns is typically a more productive employee than an employee that rents. It's just stats. This is what it is. But we come in and we get the opportunity to be in front of these people, and again, I have the high level, the C level that I'm getting in front of, because we're offering them this. Then I also get all the employees too. So the lead gen I'm able to give to my agents from what we're seeing from this is fabulous. Like, my goal is to have 10,000 employees signed up by the end of 23. We just signed up a really big one that I'm so excited about. That is just going to be a huge thing for us to be able to help them, this big company, but also my employees or my agents. I'm going to be able to help them grow their business even bigger than I have, because I'm going to have more leads coming in for them through this Lifetime Home Support corporate partnership program.
Yeah, it's a wonderful idea. Tell us more about the program itself for agents who might want to consider adding in some of not only these processes, but these revenue streams, right? Like, this is an amazing thing that you've figured out, not just how to, because I've had a lot of agents on our show who have amazing processes and strategies, and really it's just incredible, but they haven't always monetized other parts of the business outside of the actual transaction, which of course is monetized. So this idea of monetizing everything else, even like you were saying, getting a van and getting advertising on it, and even that in and of itself is smart, because it's essentially becomes a free thing. But tell us more about the program, the Start Your VIP Club. I'd love to hear, like, what do people get, and what are the price points for it?
Okay, so it's basically, it's the only course of its kind that gives agents, single agents, team leads, brokers, a roadmap to creating a VIP club that'll turn their clients into referral partners for life. It also walks them through how to monetize each part of it. So from the moving trucks to the party shed to the tool shed, to the discount center. I have discounts for all of these, and discounts for the products that they can buy, as well as what products to buy, which ones are the best. Then it's a 7-course module. It's a 7-module course, in there, and it has a section on each of the pillars for implementing, monetizing, checklist, has a whole operations module, has a whole marketing module for your own. I have a VIP clubs made for you. I have press releases made for you. I have your 30-second elevator speech made for you. I have your rollout to your data bank, that initial rollout to your data bank. I have everything you're going to need to get sponsorship for your client events, how to throw a big, great client event. Again, I'm very system centric, so I also in this course gave away as a bonus three of my high level client event checklists from beginning to end. That basically all they have to do is put one thing in, and it auto populates everything they need to do to run a profitable client event that their clients are going to love and their agents are going to attend. That's the other part of it, to get their agents there to really love it. So that's included in it. We also have software, like I said, that we created for our lifetime home support model. So it walks you through how the software works and what it's going to do to save you on employee time. And it's going to help keep you and give you more referrals, because your clients have a one-stop shop that they're going to need after the transaction. Again, they're not going back to your website after the transaction. They're just not. And so it just gives you a step-by-step, no shiny object. Like, I think our industry is so shiny object, don't you? Like, people throw money at all this stuff and then they don't go back and check the ROI. So this is a no shiny object. Here's what you do. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to give you all the tools you need, from the contracts to sell off your sponsorship for your trucks, to your client events, to your party and toolshed, as well as additional lead generation that goes into it, because all of this has additional lead generation. I give away all of this stuff to nonprofits for free. I give it away to first responders for free. I give it away. I sponsor some schools that I give it away to for free. Guess what I get to do? I get to go in and talk to these people, or I get to send in my employees to go in and talk to these people and tell them about our lifetime home support model, because we're doing that. And it's a good community give back. I love that. Again, you should want to do that as a business owner. But it's a whole circle all around way for them to grow a airtight, no worrying about any type of market shift type of business.
So what I love specifically, going all the way back to one of my sort of initial questions was, like, what are you doing in between the sales? Well, you're basically telling us all of the things that you're doing in between sales cycles, which how long in your, like, what's the average time where somebody buys or sells a home and then onto their next, like 7 years, 5 to 7 years?
It's actually 3 to 5 in our market.
Got it.
So when you think of the lifetime value of a first-time home buyer, they're a fiver. They're usually 5 transactions. So you think about that. If there are 5 transactions for you as a first-time home buyer through the life of your career, then think of how many other referrals you're getting per year off of them. That's a really delicious career.
And the fact that you even have a private Facebook group really allows them, possibly, depending on how active they are on Facebook, to really get almost daily interactions with you, right? Like, depending on how much content you guys are putting in there. But I was going to ask you, like, what do you do in between sales? Well, you're doing so many different things where you're constantly in contact. And I bet you don't even necessarily have to ask your clients, hey, do you need my help buying or selling something? Because you're so present in their life. They're reaching out to you. I imagine you don't even have to ask for the business.
It's beautiful. We really, over 70% of our business comes from repeat and referral business. And that's low, because I also have an ISA department, but my highest ISA lead source is off of calls coming in. So those calls coming in are typically off of them either seeing stuff that we're posting out there about our lifetime home support model, or referrals in from past clients. And so, that's right. Because then it's Zillow, so
Sure.
My ISA's next one is Zillow. So
you actually get more inbound calls than Zillow, than you have purchasing leads from Zillow.
Yeah. The come list me calls, or the come show me a house calls. And then think about it though too. So and this is all in my course. Again, it's the hook. They're calling in because they're contacting 5 to 6 different other agents. So again, my agents are trained that if they're out, the first time they're showing, if say a client buyer doesn't want to come in and they're meeting them in the driveway, they're handing them the marketing sheet about our lifetime home support, and to say, hey, just by the way, this is what else we have to do to help you build wealth through real estate with our lifetime home support model. With us, in 1 year, you're going to save likely over $10,000 by doing something you're going to do anyway.
Right. Oh, amazing. What you really have, I mean, when you say you're a systems person, you are really a systems person. So I imagine one of the main benefits is it just gives agents not just a blueprint of sort of how to think about building these systems, but it actually tells them what to do on a daily basis.
Yep. So at the end of every module, because that's what it is, people will take a course and then they won't know what to do. So at the end of every module, I call it my action step checklist. At the end of every module, I have an action step checklist that tells them, black and white, this is what you need to do to implement what you just learned. Here's the checklist, boom, 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 on what you need to do to move to the next step to continue to build that VIP club.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And as far as cost, what is the cost for the Start Your VIP Club?
1997.
Gotcha. So just
Yeah.
shy of $2,000. And for anyone
Yep.
listening that's like, oh, that's a lot of money. Well, it's really less than probably a third of one transaction, right?
Oh
So
my
it's
gosh.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, and guys, it's a one time payment. Basically $2,000. And if you could, I think back to, because I have to build the systems for our company in a more of the recruiting side and the retention side. And I can tell you, I spent a lot more than $2,000 putting all of
Oh,
that together over the
yeah.
last 12 years. And I would have killed to have somebody hand me a program like that. I would have gladly paid way more than $2,000 because it actually pays. It doesn't just pay for itself. It actually generates incredible amount of revenue.
Oh my gosh, the amount of revenue that you have from this, just from your repeat business, is in there. And then when you think about, yeah, it's just a system and strategy. If you don't have to come up with it, Mark Twain said there's no such thing as an original idea. Everything is just out there. It just doesn't exist. Same thing. You take this and it gives you a step by step on how to create it, implement it, and monetize it quickly. And then I have virtual assistant trained in my lifetime home support program that I sell time blocks out to my students too, who want to implement faster. So my VAs have stepped into my students and helped them just go with that. If they don't have either the bandwidth in-house right now, or they want extra help with somebody who knows everything about this system already, they can buy time blocks at my lifetime home support virtual assistants too.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I was at an event yesterday morning here for our local association where we bring in top producers and have them speak to newer agents. And we had about 300 people there, and it was a wonderful event. And somebody grabbed me, who I didn't know. I guess he's a fan of the podcast, and said, speaking of virtual assistants, he goes, "I listened to an episode you did about why a virtual assistant makes sense, and I finally pulled the trigger, did it." He goes, "I've like doubled my business because of it."
Oh, easy,
And easy, yeah.
easy, easy. I tell my agents all the time that if you're doing it, then you're the assistant. You don't need to be doing, my average agent, again, they're selling, close to 30, and 22 homes a year. And so that they shouldn't be doing those things.
Right.
I think we have 6 VAs right now over in the Philippines that we have. And it just helps systemize so many things that we're not worried
We
about.
yeah, we have VAs as well for our for running the back end of our brokerage. Not
Mhm.
client facing VAs, but
Yeah.
but client facing VAs are great too. And all of ours are from the Philippines as well. And boy, I've been using VAs in the Philippines for 6 years now, I think. And
Mhm.
just incredible opportunities there that we're
Oh,
now so
yeah.
globalized. We can find great talent from overseas, with an internet connection, and
Yeah.
it's just amazing.
And right now, just to speak to that, I think a lot of agents, again, and brokers who are frozen in fear and not taking advantage of the opportunity have let a lot of VAs go. So right now there's an influx of VAs available. So again, for somebody thinking about that it's right now is a good time to get a VA who's trained in nearly every tech stack that's out there.
Yeah. So, what would you recommend as a first step for somebody who does feel a little frozen right now? They don't have a whole lot of clients. Everyone's bummed out about interest rates and inventory. And obviously, mindset's really important.
Mhm.
So, what would you recommend that somebody could do as just like a first step forward to just start recognizing the opportunity that exists this year?
They need to build their database, build their data bank. So if they want to email me, amy@amystockberger.com, I will send them my data bank builder for free. Send them out for them to sit down and fill out. It's just their data bank builder that's just going to be memory jogs for them of everybody they know who should be living within their database, within their CRM. And then they need to turn around and do the next step, put them in that CRM and let it start working for them. And then
Yeah,
the
and are you a big fan of collecting as much data points as you can to give you a reason to reach out? In other words, like how I don't know how detailed you get with your clients in your CRM, but you obviously know where they work because we talked about why that's important. And also too, you could put Google alerts up for these companies, and if
yeah.
you see any major news come through, another reason to pick up the phone. Hey, I just saw your company won this big deal or whatever.
Yeah.
So I imagine a lot. I mean, you've talked about this, a lot of what you do is real estate adjacent or
Mhm.
even not necessarily related to real estate, because you're trying to just immerse yourself in their lives, which include work, life, home, everything.
Yep.
I imagine you probably have a lot of data points in your CRM for each one of your data, or
Oh,
you said called data bank, sorry.
yeah, we do. We keep as much as we possibly can in there. I mean, that's a big part. I think that I tell my agents this too. That's one of the benefits of working for our companies. Our business plan is set up because I made all the mistakes. And so I've set it up so that they don't have to, and they can scale
Yeah.
easily and don't have to do it the hard way like I did. They're able to do it the easy way with everything that we've taken care of for them. Because think about it too, like I didn't use my CRM to the level I use it now, probably 10 years ago. Think of what, like, I in my head, I'm like, oh, you know how much more success I would have had I used that the way I should have. But then you think of a CRM, what are they using for those drip campaigns? Are they using the built-in ones? Are they going back? Are they putting any of their unique value propositions? My course has it all. I have a whole drip campaign for every part of it, from the time they rent something to the drip campaign in the funnel they have from when they come in as a new lead. So you have the hook in there from a web lead to a past client to a nonprofit to your HST partners, all of those in there. So you're staying top of mind through all the ways you need to.
Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. I don't know how big the residential rental market is in Sioux Falls. I don't know if that's a possible source of revenue for agents. I hear in Chicago, we're in downtown, so obviously there's tons of
Oh,
rentals,
mhm.
and so many agents start out in rentals, and so many agents don't. And I always encourage agents who aren't like flush with leads, especially if they're new, which of course nobody is when you start. I'm like, do as many leads as you can, because almost everyone that owns used to rent, right? And again, I don't
Mhm.
know if that might not translate to every market out there. But do you see a lot of agents doing rentals as a way to just as an entry point in your market to, or do you
Not in
encourage your
ours.
agents to do that? Not
We
yours.
don't really have the big
There's
enough
just not
market to.
much.
It's just
Yeah.
not even really a thing here.
Yeah.
Leasing
What
maybe
what about
commercial.
supporting local businesses? So you talked about having a vendor list.
Oh,
Do you
yep.
I would love to know a little, because this is another thing that anybody
Oh,
can go out and do. Go ahead,
yes.
talk about
So,
that.
okay. So one of my standards of practice for our agents is that they have to be in a performing networking group that meets on a weekly basis. So a
Love
leads
that.
group. So and BNIs are not for everybody. They're just
Sure.
not. They weren't for me when I first got into the business, basically because I was dirt poor and did not have the money for a BNI. And it just wasn't the structure that my brain worked best in. So I created a leads group, and I have a system for my agents too, where they have to be a part of a leads group that, again, that meets on a weekly basis. The benefit of leads group, there's exclusivity to your market. So it's not like the chamber. I sit on the board of our chamber, so I love the chamber. Chamber is a big part of our business too, but um, it's not like the chamber. You have exclusivity in that, and you're meeting with all the holidays over the 1 year. You're meeting likely like 48 times. The investment to be in ours is about $45 a month, and you have the opportunity to sit down, especially as realtors, once a week. And during your 30-second interview or your 30-second commercial where you're going around introducing, you're giving out all your listings. You better bet that I'm telling every seller in my list seller presentation that that's part of my SOPs for my agents, that we're giving out our listings at everything. So again, word of mouth marketing, that's the second place where buyers find out about a house for
That's
sale.
interesting. You're giving out your listings. That's very interesting. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Well, at the second place buyers find out about a house for sale is through the realtors. So that word of mouth needs to be so big. And so
Yeah.
that's, a big thing too. If you, and I have a mini course coming out on that, on a blueprint to build a converting leads group. But that is such an easy build. Like you could do 10 transactions a year just from that. I typically sell my personal business 3 to 4 million a year from my group that I started back in 2004.
Wow.
But it's such an easy, and again, it's rapport build, it's relationship building, and they're out there, you're building their business, so they're out there helping you build yours. And again, the
Yeah.
more eyeballs you have on your listings, the better.
Yeah, and the vendor list too is, or the partnership list. I guess I should say, is so important at this meeting I was at yesterday. This top producer event. One of the agents was. They said, "Well, where's some of your best referral sources?" And he said, "Well, everyone talks about their existing clients, and yes, a good chunk of mine come from there. But he's like, you know what? Nobody talks about, because it's maybe just a little bit slightly sort of uncomfortable." He goes, "Divorce attorneys." He says,
Oh,
"Divorce attorneys are unbelievable." And the whole crowd, you could see, kind of like shuddered, like, oh, I don't
mhm.
really want to. That's dark and kind of, maybe uncomfortable. But it was like, he goes, "Oh, no, no." He goes, "Divorce attorneys are, first of all, they're always in business. They always have lots of business, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But but or fortunately, depending on the situation. But regardless, they have people who need to move, right? So these are huge opportunities to get in, to really think about leveraging these relationships, and whether,
Oh,
you
gotcha.
know, and earning them. So I'd love to hear more about some of those partnerships that you have where you're able to provide value, like obviously on either end there.
Yeah, so even probate too. I think we have a relationships
Yeah.
with the attorneys in town for probate because
Estate planning
they
attorneys. Yeah.
they have to, and that's really one of the reasons. Like my instant offer program. So we have all, like I said, systems and strategies for every part of the home buying and selling process for every season. So from that lease buyout, the very first house, and oftentimes that instant offer program we have is the last house. So that's a really good program for, it's typically it's the older child who's taking care of that for their parents,
Sure.
typically out of state. And so having those relationships with probate attorneys in town to just hand those leads over, they're going somewhere. We know that they're going to sell. And that's a good lead source for us.
Wow. Well, and by the way, so Amy's, a couple of things we want to mention here. So Amy's program, to really create a lifetime lead strategy and have all the systems that, by the way, she's been working on for, gosh, quite a number of years now, and made all the mistakes that you don't have to make, because they've already been made, and she already knows how to move past that, and to get her best practices. And again, she's one of the top teams in the country. This is not a self-help guru that has never actually practiced, like somebody like me who goes, oh, this is what you should do, and you're like, well, DJ, you never practiced. Yeah, don't listen to me, but listen to Amy. Because Amy knows what she is talking about. And if you go to startyourvipclub.com, you can learn more about all of this. And guys, I don't ever recommend any, really, I mean, very rarely do I ever recommend a program for our audience, because I don't want our audience investing in something that that they are going to come back to me and say, well, I don't like that DJ guy anymore. I just spent $2,000 and got nothing. No, you're going to get a lot with this program, and I need to use this program myself for some ways I need to better strategize and process out our business. And so this is, I'm going to be a client of this as well, and I'm going to, I am, because here's what I need help with. I need help better monetizing our podcast. So I would like to chat with you offline about that. But my
Yeah.
point is Amy has figured all this stuff out. So guys, if you go to startyourvipclub.com, then you can learn more about it. And please consider investing in it. I know it's a little bit of money, but trust me, if it just gets you even just one deal, it pays for itself, and it's going to get you a lot more than that. More
Oh gosh, yeah.
importantly, it's not even really about getting one deal and having it pay for it. It's about setting up systems so that you don't have to wake up every day and go, what am I supposed to do? What should I do? Because that is a tremendous amount of anxiety. I know what that feels like when you don't have processes and systems in place. It sucks when you wake up and you're like, there's fear, you just don't know what to do. You're sort of flying blind out there. Get a system. This is the system.
Overwhelm paralysis. It's overwhelm paralysis. That's just what happens. If there isn't a direct checklist on what you need to do, that's what happens. Yep.
And by the way, the other thing I'll mention for any agents that are in the Sioux Falls area or are in, a surrounding area of South Dakota, and you're like, oh, I don't work with a team like this. My brokerage isn't quite giving me these kind of things, or I would love to work with Amy or maybe become a member of her team. While she obviously doesn't accept every realtor that reaches out, but Amy, her team is growing. They have 15 agents right now, and they are one of the top teams in the entire country. I know if I was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, as an agent, I wouldn't even look elsewhere. I'd be like, well, I just want to go with the best. So, Amy, if there is anyone out there, and by the way, guys, remember too that when the pandemic happened, a lot of people started moving to places that they weren't moving to prior to the pandemic. Montana, Idaho, the Dakotas, right? So you might, even if you're not in that local area, maybe you have referrals of people that are now exploring getting, retirement homes there, or maybe just moving to, because they can work from home. So even if you just want to refer business to Amy, she would obviously love the opportunity to speak to you. But if you are an agent in her area, in Sioux Falls and in that local area, and you want to consider possibly working or joining up with her team, Amy, can you tell us a little bit about what your team is looking for in an agent?
Yes, and for those of you who are looking to refer a business, we go out to my YouTube channel, Living in Sioux Falls. We have a big book of business for our relo. I have a very dedicated and systemized relocation integration process, so I'll guarantee you'll be taken care of. to the nth degree. But yeah, what we're looking for in an agent, we're looking for agents who are there to serve. Again, my vision for my company is to build big, juicy legacies through wealth of real estate with lifetime home support. And that's what I want for my agents. We have a very support-driven model. So we have the inside transaction management, listing coordination, inside sales department to generate a lot of leads. We pay for the majority of the tech stack too for our agents so they can be as profitable as possible for them. And again, I've set it up for them to build their businesses so they don't have to do it the way I did it, that they're going to be out there doing what they're best at, which is taking care of that client. And we have pretty much everything else that we're trying to take care of for them on the backside of it so they can continue to keep serving more and more clients.
Wow. So if there's an agent that is interested in maybe learning more or providing value to your team, or maybe just wanting your guidance, what's the best way they should reach out to you?
Yep, just at amy@amystockberger.com, or they can any of my handles are at amystockbergerrealestate.com, and then for our digital marketing, our digital courses, it's just ASRE Academy.
Yeah, ASRE Academy, or if you just go to startyourvipclub.com, that'll
Yep.
take you also right there as well. It'll
Yep.
redirect you. We're going to have links to all of this in the show notes. So don't worry, you don't have to write it down. It's all in our show notes. Just look for there and we will have it in there. But Amy, oh my gosh, this is, I could have you on every single week. We could be talking about another process, another thing agents should be doing. And you know what? That's not a terrible idea. I will talk to you offline because I think we could possibly even drill down. Now, everyone, I'm peeling back the curtain for our audience.
Yeah.
Right now.
It's a lot.
No. But this is what I'm curious. So I was just talking to one of my colleagues this morning. He was going, "How's the podcast going?" Now I'll just give everyone a little behind the scenes of what it's like to run a podcast. And I would call my podcast a successful podcast because it pays for itself. We have sponsors. We have a pretty sizable audience. And I'm not saying that as any sort of brag or what the younger people say, flex. I'm not doing it for that reason, which is so silly. I'm not doing it because I'm the person that always thinks, oh, it's no big deal. I'm not that important. But we do have a pretty sizable audience. And my point is I am always wondering what our audience needs. Now, because podcasting is largely a one-way communication, right? You're listening to me and Amy. I don't often get a lot of feedback. We get a lot of lovely fan letters. Like almost every day we get some one or two letters from people. It's so sweet. But I don't often know what our listeners actually want or need because there's not an easy way to sort of get that feedback. So what I'm going to ask everyone to do is, if you think that this would be really helpful, if maybe once a month we had Amy on and she did a deep dive into one particular, pillar or something that just, because I think we could create really, really a lot of value for our agents, or for our listeners, I should say, and for the agents at my firm as well. But where they could learn some of this stuff, because I think this, you have so many processes. I think this really deserves more than one go around. So we could really do a deep dive and learn more.
I'd be honored.
I would be honored too. And and I am excited as well. So guys, everyone out there, please visit startyourvipclub.com. Also, amystockberger.com is another place. Again, just go to the show notes. We'll click on the links. There's so much great content there. A lot of it's free, by the way, too. Amy's very, very generous around giving. And, and also, again, if you're an agent and you want to maybe join her team, or maybe you have business for people that are moving to the area, obviously, why not refer to the number one team in the area? That's what I would do. Yeah. So visit amystockberger.com as well. Amy, so as we're kind of wrapping up here, by the way, back to our audience. So audience, if you think this would be really helpful for you, I didn't give you an action step, let us know. And there's not an easy way to give us that feedback, but if you go on our Facebook page, or if you just send us an email, which you can do at keepingitrealpod.com, we have contact information there and all of our social channels. You can let us know, but if this would be really helpful for you, and I know that it would be, but I just want to double check with our audience, make sure that I'm giving you the value you want. Let us know and we'll have Amy back on. But Amy, on behalf of our audience, I say thank you for taking time out of your busy life, your very, very busy life, to come on our show and talk about some of these processes. And I hope lots of our people really consider investing in your Start Your VIP Club so they can have a lifetime sort of referral business. And this isn't the same sort of thing that you get from other sources. This is a really unique program that also shows you how to monetize it all. So, I mean, that's, I think, just an incredible value add. So startyourvipclub.com. And also on behalf of Amy and myself, we want to thank the audience for making it all the way to the end of this episode. We appreciate you. We love you. You're the reason we do this show. And please, just if you want to help us grow, two things: support our sponsors. So consider investing in their products and services. They're the reason we can pay our bills. And tell a friend about the show. Just one other realtor that is struggling right now. And guess what? Almost all realtors are struggling right now. So send them a link to this episode. Maybe somebody that wakes up on a Monday and doesn't always know what to do as a realtor. What should I do today? Well, this episode that Amy provided a lot of great suggestions for people to really make 2023 a good year. Let's make this a year where you get more market share. This is the year. Agents are falling away. They're falling off, and this is a great opportunity for those who stay, because you're going to pick up that business, but you need processes.
Yes. DJ, thanks for everything you do for our industry. You're awesome.
Oh, thank you, Amy. Well, I appreciate that as well. And again, we'll talk about having you come on more regularly, because I think this would be so much fun. All right, guys, thank you. We will see everybody on the next episode. Visit our website, keepingitrealpod.com. Tell a friend about the show. Invest in Amy's Amy's program. Startyourvipclub.com. All right, Amy, thank you so much. We'll see everyone on the